This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. It sure is great having you join me here in these online lessons. This is lesson 17 in this mini course that's all about flat picking. This is an exciting time in the mini course because we're going to start adding bass note runs between the chord changes. Mostly in the last several lessons, lesson 16 slightly different, but mostly we've been working with this strumming pattern. Bass, down, up, alternate, bass, down, up, and we've worked it with all types of basic chords in first position. All the major and dominant ones. So now we're going to add bass note runs between the chord changes, and it's going to be great. In this lesson, we're going to work with G and C, and then in future lessons, we'll work between other chords. So we'll just go ahead and get started. So between the G chord and the C chord, between those two, there is the notes A and B. So we have a G note as the root of the G chord, and then we have an A note and a B note, and then we have the C note, which is the root of the C chord. So when we're doing a bass note run between the two, we're going to use those notes. So A is the open 5th string, B is the 2nd fret of the 5th string. When we're going from G to C, we're going higher. So we're going to go A, B, C. We're just going to go right up that musical alphabet, right up the scale actually. We're going to put that on beats 3 and 4. So it's going to be bass, down, up, and then walk up to that C, but we'll worry about that in a second. In going the other way from C to G, we're descending, so we're going to play the B note, then the A note, and come back to G. So I'm not going to review how to do the alternating bass notes in the strumming pattern. You can use any one, or if you need to, if you haven't seen it yet, lesson 12 goes over going between C and G7 using these notes, and the G7 and the G chord have the same alternating bass notes, and the walk between the two actually is the same. So right now we're working between G and C, but as we apply it with a song later on, we'll work actually with G7. So, but let's just work on this here. So what we're going to do is you're going to have a bass, you're going to have this strumming pattern going, bass, down, up, alternate, bass, down, up, and you can use any alternate bass you want. I'm just going 6th string to 5th string right now. But what's going to happen when it's time to do that change is we're going to do the first half, bass, down, up on the chord we're on, and then on beats 3 and 4, we're going to play those two notes, and then we start with the next. One. So, in going from G to C, I would have bass, down, up, and then A, B, I'm talking the notes, so open 5th string to 2nd fret on the 5th string up to that C chord, and then I'm just back to the strumming pattern. The strumming pattern we've worked on so much in the course already. So I'm going to have G up to C, and it works just like that. I'll slow it down a little bit here. I'm going to do a measure of the strumming pattern on G, and then we're going to do G, walk to C. So I'm just going to slow it down. You got G, then we walk to C. Let's do it again. So you got G, we're going to walk to C. So we go again, G, and walk to C. Now we need to be able to walk back, and we just do it in reverse. We go B, A, G. 2, open on that 5th string, and then to the G chord. So if we're going from C to the G, bass down, to open G. Isn't that cool? So we can do it again, C, down to G. One more time, C, down to G. Now we can just go back and forth between the two chords. So we'll do 2 measures on G, and that second measure for beats 3 and 4 we'll do the walk up, and then for C we'll do 2 measures. In that second measure we'll do the walk back down to G. So here you go. 1, 2, ready, and we got G, that as many times as you need to until it gets comfortable. If the up strum is getting in the way, you can simplify the strumming pattern to just go bass, down, alternate bass, down. So bass, down, up to C. And then do it back. And so on. Okay, so once you get it there, it's nice to take it a little bit faster. So I'm just going to speed it up here. C, back to G, up to C, back to G, up to C, back to G. Okay, so it's as simple as that. Now, in the song we're going to be using G7, so it actually works the same to go from C down to G7 and back to C. Down to G7, back to C. Let's go ahead and take a look at plugging this into the song. So I have the chord progression up here on the board. Down in the description below is a link. You can download a free copy of the sheet music in PDF form. So we're going to use Oh My Darling Clementine. This is the same song that I went over in lesson 12 when we were working just on the strumming pattern and learning to play the melody. I'm not going to go over playing the melody here, and I won't go over the variations. This song's actually in 3/4 time. We're going to do it with this strumming pattern for 4/4 time by inserting it twice per measure. So that changes it up a little bit, changes that feel up. But in lesson 12, I did go over how we do these sorts of things in 3/4 time. So you can check that out. And you could walk bass lines in 3/4 time as well, but I'm not going to go over that in this lesson. We're just going to use this song that's familiar that goes back and forth between these two chords so we can practice inserting this into actual practicality of a song. So we have 3 measures of C, which is going to translate to us 6 measures in 4/4 time. So we're going to do 2 times of 4/4 time with our bass down up, alternate bass down up. We're going to do that 2 times per measure of 3/4 time, and it'll work just great. So we're going to have 6 measures in the 4/4 of C, and then we have 2 in G7. So what happens when we're doing these walks is that in the very last measure before the chord change is where we insert it. And so if we were reading this with 6 C's, it would be on the 6th C. That's where we would do the actual walk from C to G. So we'd be on the bass down, up, walk down to G7. I said G, but G7. So let's do that here. So you're going to have, we go ready, and we got C, C, 3rd time, 4th time, 5th time, and then on the 6th time, we walk to G7. Just as easy as that, and we'll plug that into the song. You see it coming and you're like, okay. If you're reading the music, then you're just going to think second time, second half when we get to that 3rd measure there with the music, as the melody and the lyrics are written in 3/4 time. G7 lasted for 2 measures on that first line. Then as we come around to the second line, we've got G7C, G7C. So we have 2 more measures of G7, 2 measures of C, 2 measures of G7, 2 measures of C. So this is kind of nice because as we were practicing going between G and C earlier in the lesson, we were just doing 2 measures on each. So we'll play G7 here for 2 measures, and then we come around and do 2 more, and on that second one we'll walk back to C, and then on that second one of C we walk back to G7, second one of G7 we walk back to C. So let's just try it here. So we're going to be on the G7, and then we go to the second line, at least on the board, and then we're going to walk to C, we're going to walk back to G7, and we're going to walk back to C. And I just threw an ending on there by going C to G7 to C. We've done that a little bit throughout the course as well. Of course, for Clementine, the whole progression goes twice. So the second half of the song has the same progression as the first half. So we would do it again for the second half. But let's just practice this first half here before we actually do it in this song. So we're going to 1, a 2, a ready, and we got the C. 3rd time, 4th time, 5th time. So here comes our 6th time with the walk to G7. And then we got a 3rd time. We're going to walk back to C, back to G7, and back to C. And then it starts over, so we continue there. And that's all there is to it. Now, when you're plugging these types of things into various songs, you don't actually have to do a walk every time. But this one we can, so I'm inserting it here. We get lots of practice with it. But you can kind of choose where you want to stick them in, when you want to stick them in. They don't always have to be placed in there, but we're going to stick it in everywhere on this one. All right, we'll take it just slightly faster here as we plug it into the song. Just like that. In a cavern, 1, 2, I want to. In a cavern, in a canyon, excavate for a mine. Dwelt a miner, 49er, and his daughter, Clementine. I hope that's fun. I'm going to take it a little bit faster here. So go about there. 1, 2, I want to. In a cabin, in a canyon, excavating for a mine. Dwelt a miner, 49er, and his daughter, Clementine. Oh my darling, oh my super fun! So you can practice with that walking bass note. In the next lesson, we are going to go between G and D, or G and D7, or G7 and D. Doesn't really matter, they're interchangeable, but it's going to be fun. We're going to do G and D. It's going to be great. Hope you're having fun with this. Take care. I'll see you next time.
If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more in-depth lessons and to progress through a free guitar course, check out my Guitar 101 series on YouTube and my guitar method books, which all come with access to hours of in-depth video lessons. You can find more information about me and my products at KristenBromley.com. Take care.